my name is Brittany Janice. I'm 17 and I'm currently studying at Worthing College. Today I'll be focusing on my A-level fine art course, and I'll be giving you guys tips on how to plan and develop your artwork. I know planning and making an idea is quite difficult, so hopefully I can give you guys ways to overcome that. My first step is to brainstorm. Firstly, I recommend starting with a theme for your project. For example, your theme could be space. In order to brainstorm, you can do things like mind maps or look up synonyms that relate to your theme. By doing this, it can keep your brain warm and it is bound to spark an idea that you can develop further on. For example, with space, I could have keywords such as sun, stars. Just get down as many ideas as you can, even if it sounds really silly, because there's always something you can develop. Apps I recommend is Pinterest. It's an app/website where you can type in any keyword and it'll give you a bunch of mood boards and pictures, and you can possibly find an idea for your theme. I also use this website called Word Hippo. It gives you a bunch of synonyms if you type in a keyword. Tip number 2, thumbnails. To define a thumbnail, it's basically a small sketch or rough idea that can initially be developed further into an outcome. To create your own thumbnails, you need to take the words you brainstormed in your mind map and try to sketch something out of that. For example, let's say I chose the word sun. I could sketch things that relate to your sun, such as maybe the sunny beach or children playing in the park, anything really that comes to mind. I can also use a bunch of mark making. I believe mark making is really good to add a dynamic to your work. Mark making can be things such as lines, dots, dashes. You can be really experimental and see what works best. An important thing to consider when brainstorming is your color. So you can make a color palette towards your theme. I recommend at least making 5 to 10 thumbnails or more. The more you have, the more you can have inspiration from. They can be in little squares. They don't even have to be in a frame. They could just be freehand. They could be in circles. It's up to you. After you're happy with making a decent amount of thumbnails, I recommend narrowing them down to 2 or 3 so you can choose to develop further. Tip number 3, use a range of mediums. Let's say you finally picked your 2 or 3 thumbnails. You're ready to develop them into probably an A4 size or an A3 size. 3 is a minimum of mediums of your thumbnails. For example, I could choose a chalk and charcoal, I could use ink, and I could use acrylic. The more mediums you have, the better, because you can see which works best with your thumbnail and which doesn't work best. You can also mix your mediums and experiment however you like and see where you go. Tip number 4, don't be restrictive on yourself. What I mean by that is a lot of artists think that if I don't do it right the first time, it's not going to go well. Everything's wrong and they want to start over. This means that the artist is restricting their ability to try new things and completely stops before they actually make a piece of art that has potential. Art is all about developing, remaking, reshaping, and being expressive. No such thing as bad art because it's all subjective. Even if you make a mistake, you could always change it and make it better. I recently watched a movie and the main actor said, "Ruin your good painting and a chance for a great one." It was by Ellie Chu in the movie The Half of It. And also, the best way to developing and improving your art is looking at others, because if you have like an art account like I do and follow those art accounts, you can also take inspiration from them. You cannot come up with an idea unless you have some type of inspiration, unless you're like an alien. And my last tip is to pace yourself. It's really hard to spark ideas in one day, so I recommend maybe scheduling days where you're going to do art across the week, because you end up getting burnt out if you try to make art all in one day. You're more likely to create a better piece of art if you give yourself many days to create it. You might get frustrated with yourself if you don't get a good piece of art, and that's okay. You need to be able to believe in yourself in order to create art, and the most important thing for artists is to have self-belief, or else we're never going to make the art that we like. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I helped you in some way in how to plan and develop your art better. Now go make some great art, because you're amazing. Good luck. I hope it goes well for you. Thank you.